Like, it wasn't coming in like this last May.
Really?
Yeah. You know, it's where you are. It's what you're putting out there. Yeah.
Remind me of your first name again.
James.
Jim, yeah.
Whatever.
And your surname?
Neville. Neville.
Are you the PCS that started off as Neville's Maintenance?
I did have Neville's Maintenance.
Because I was having a scroll yesterday, and I thought, mate, that's a story.
We used to have JC. I was originally JC Window Cleaning. I can tell you all this on it.
Yeah. We'll touch on it. We'll touch on it.
Introduce us. We're rolling. Sorry, mate. Was that your fingers?
No. You go. You introduce.
Welcome back to another guest episode, guys. It's been a while since our last one. We have had confirmation today that the hard drive has been
that's great
been
news.
saved as well, which is great news. So there'll be lots of guest episodes coming out. This one will probably be the first one, though. Today we've got James from PCS External Cleaning?
Exterior Cleaning. Yeah.
And we are going to talk about his story, how he started out, what's going on now, where he's at, and everything in between. Welcome, James.
Thank you.
Welcome, bud.
Right, let's start it off with how you got started window cleaning. What were you doing before? Did you start off traditional, all that stuff from the beginning?
From school, I had a couple of jobs, but nothing serious. And then my best mate was a traditional window cleaner. He's a singer as well. And in the week, so we had nothing to do
at the same time? Or?
Yeah. So we had nothing to do in the week. All his work was at the weekends. And then I was like, well, I fancy a bit of that. Let's have a go. And I was too scared to go up a ladder, so I used to do all the bottoms for a good 6 months. Fell off my first ladder in the first year. I don't like this. We did a year and 2 months of traditional, and I was like, there's a better way than this. And then straight to water-fed. But every mistake you could think of, I've done over 20 years.
So that was 20 years ago?
Yeah.
So presumably at that point, water-fed pole wasn't
It was
like
people
it is
doing
now.
it. It was, I would say probably half back then.
So it wasn't like a difficult, you didn't have to like really research on the best way to
straight
do
in.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting.
And this was back in the year like 2000?
It was 2005, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just quickly touch on that. So you said you went to work with a fella.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years, so when did you go off on your own?
So straight away almost. As soon as we went to water-fed, I said to him, look, I want to do this myself. You can come and work for me, but I want to be the company. So we were called JC Window Cleaning, not Jesus Christ, but James and Corey it was at the time. Yeah, we used to have pure holy water. Used to just rinse off the windows.
What a great marketing.
We used it as well.
Yeah.
I proper used it. And then I got bored about 2010. Got married, got bored, and sold
what
it.
Happens, yeah.
Sold it. Went to work for the newspaper for about a week, and I was like, I've made a big mistake. And I went back and I bought it back off them, and I went forward, and it's just got bigger and bigger. But since COVID, I'm sure we'll get onto it. Since COVID, mental.
So what did that? You sold it and bought it back within
a month. Less than a month.
Did you get burnt on that deal? Or?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So you bought it back for more than you sold it for?
But I'm always good at talking to people, so it's never hard to get work, I don't think.
How many did you sell? What was your round like when you sold it?
Back then, I think I sold $4,000 a month for about 20 grand.
That's a good price.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It was a good multiple.
Yeah, and had to pay more to get it back, but yeah.
But you definitely decided it was a mistake.
Definitely. And you look back at those prices all them years ago.
Yeah.
Like,
you used to 15 years ago.
£6 a house.
A month is like.
Yeah, that was good money. Really
Yeah.
good money. But you were doing £6 a house.
Yeah.
What would you do for £6 now? I get a bed for £6.
I can't get lunch for £6.
Exactly. So, big changes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you bought it back.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Talk me through it. What was the mindset? What was the vision you had? I should imagine you bought it back and it was like all systems go.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I've always had someone help me out a little bit, but at times you just got to get on and do it yourself. I found that even when we're bigger now, there's times there's work to be done and there's no one to do it. You just got to do it yourself. You know?
Yeah.
So you still mucking in?
I still muck in.
Yeah.
I've worked 12 hours a day already.
So Just to clarify, James has driven about 2 hours?
Nearly.
About 2 hours to come onto the podcast. So we
After a
do
day's
really
work.
appreciate the effort you've put in to come down to see us.
Right.
Yeah.
Far away. Next one.
Next one. How has the business evolved since you launched it? Obviously, we spoke about how you'd built it up and sold it and then rebought it back.
Yeah.
But have you had to grow the area? How's it evolved from that point onwards?
So as I said, probably made all the mistakes you can think of as a window cleaner. So if you want to give advice to someone, don't go too far out of where you live. You know, I now have work. Most of my next door neighbours are my window cleaning customers. You know, that's great. Or within half a mile, you've got a nice big round. When you go in an hour to work, what happens when you make a mistake? You can't go back an hour. Or I'll come back next time I'm in the area, and then the area's not there for 30 days, and you just lose the customer. So keep it local. That was a few mistakes we made. We had up to Lincolnshire, which is kind of the other way from Essex, and then I came down towards this area, and it was just too far.
Not too close.
Yeah, too far, mate. You start speaking funny down here. But yeah.
So did you rein that in at some point? So you...
And then just sold off when it was too far away.
Yeah, so you grew... You wanted to grow, so you've gone for that mindset of, well, I'll just expand my area and that'll give me a whole new pool of people to...
And then I bought in my area was the main thing. So I've spent... between my...
So guys, before we get back to the podcast, we just wanted to let you know about a new thing that we've added to the podcast to help support our travels, to support our getting guests on the podcast, and just to overall help us out a little bit with the running costs of a podcast.
And in return of your support, guys, we have put together the Uncleanables Community Hub. And this is a hub where like-minded individuals such as yourself can come together, you can share ideas, you can chat, you can discuss work, all different topics, all under one roof.
So it's super easy to join the community, guys. There's a link in the description below. Just click on that. It will take you through to our YouTube page. On the membership section, you can sign up there. Whether you're listening or watching, it will be in the description of the show notes.
And once again, thanks for your support, guys. Back to the podcast.
Dad helping me out and bank loans and stuff like that. We spent $250,000 on buying rounds.
Really?
In the last 10 years.
Mate, that is giant. Can we talk about that?
You can definitely talk about that. That's lots of little rounds. My first one was 2012. I bought off a bloke who sadly died. I bought 25 grand it cost me to buy 5 grand a month. Back in 2012.
Strong money still, yeah.
Not bad. And from there, I just built everything. Every time someone retired or moved out of the area, or even just like, come and work for me, and then we take over their work.
Have you got any tips for people that, like, how do you put yourself in a position to be the person they call?
Just talk to them when you see them on the street. In fact, I saw a window cleaner doing a sushi bar on the high street up here,
really?
and it's instinct. Oh, go and talk to him. It's not my area, but just talk to them. And it's a big network of window cleaners anyway. I think in an area, you know who is around you. There's 142 window cleaners in the Peterborough area. Right, that's a lot of window cleaners. Right, and it's only a little place. It's not like Essex. There's only 400,000 people or something like that. But I know most of them, and I've done business pass between those people. And as soon as one retired the other day. He phones me up. Oh, I've got 800 quid 2 miles down the road from me, so I paid him 3 cleans for it. What's that? 2,400 quid.
That's a good price.
And it's great. It was all underpriced, like £15 a house. And you got to say something that without registered.
So talk about your process with that. So you buy anything that comes through the door.
Yeah. At whatever rate it is as well.
Yeah.
So say it's £15 a house. You've got 10 £15 houses. Go and clean them once. Make sure they know you're brilliant. You do everything properly. Heated water, electric reels, proper trained staff, uniform staff, insurance is in place, van insurance, any equipment you can show them certificates for. Boys have been all trained and stuff like that. And then you go, look, we're not just a bloke with ladders on the top of his car. You can see we're a big outfit. We're VAT registered. This is the new price going forwards, and we want you to pay like this. All go cardless. If you don't take it on go cardless, so it's more hassle to take cash from a customer, I think, than the go cardless. So when they say, do you want cash? No, I don't want cash. Because now I've got to go to the post office, pay to pay it in.
Yeah, I have that same problem.
Can I just interject on that cash, because you're the same, right? And I'll just take it as it comes, right? What's the harm? I'm going to get shot down for this. What's the harm in just, cash and just chucking it in the drawer? And just like, okay, I know obviously we're all meant to declare it, okay, but obviously some things slip through the net.
I tell you what, my dad owns opticians, right? Big opticians, does really good money. He's invested in my company as well. And he said, if I did a 100 quid job cash and I just put it in the drawer and I didn't worry about it, and then that customer went to the pub and he said, oh, you should go and see Jane Neville, the opticians, down the road. He does it for cash. You get cheaper, right? And that bloke down the road tells someone else, and then who tells the tax man, or tells a VAT inspector, or tells someone whose dad is a VAT inspector, or something like that.
Yeah.
You're done. Then they come and see you. You got to prove that you ain't got that 100 quid in your pocket.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Because the customer said you come and done it.
I think as well,
Yeah.
the one thing for me was, say at the moment 50% of your work's cash, but then you take on a staff member and you're bringing in 15 grand a month, but 7.5 of it's in cash. Well, the 7.5 left over isn't enough to pay your 2 van insurances, your staff members' wages, your insurances, your rent, or
Now you're
whatever
behind,
it is. Then you have to pay some of it in anyway, and then it's like,
well, just do the lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you might as well
right,
just have it through the bank.
Let's go back to it, James. Okay, so you've done the clean with the hot water and all the rest of it. Some are paying cash.
The hot water it's my main key. Electric reels, you're a fool if you don't do electric reels, but hot water, it's a no-brainer.
Game changer, is it?
You can do a conservatory roof. How long does it take you to do an average £100 conservatory roof? What's your average roof?
So I charge 160. It takes me about an hour.
Yeah,
An hour. So it'll take you half an hour with hot water.
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Just
Easily.
cuts through it.
Right, and then if you put TFR or something on top, even less time. But the green on, like, when you go to a windows that haven't been done ever, and the green and black, it just eats it up.
Is that right?
It's brilliant.
It's good for first cleans then.
Yeah,
the hot
but
water.
it's expensive. It's another
Yeah.
£5 a van. It's more expensive per day. You're probably spending £10-12 on diesel a day to heat it. You know,
What's the biggest round you bought?
that was probably the biggest one.
Really?
Yeah,
The
that
25 grand up?
Yeah, biggest. Because
The
all
first
little
one
ones.
you bought was like
probably the
that,
biggest. Yeah.
Wow.
I've sold around for more money, but buying around was probably the biggest. Because the little ones are the best ones. We bought one last year, November, at £5,000 for 3 grand's worth of work.
That's really
beautiful.
Good. Yeah, it's less than 2x.
What an investment.
318 customers, and I've looked at it last night. I've lost 26.
A
out
lot of them stuck around.
318.
Just under 10%, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was that because that they were already well priced and you didn't have to up the
No,
prices.
I lost it because the price went up.
Right.
So, but only 26 out of 318.
And is that sort of a typical amount
I would
you'd
think so.
expect to lose?
So what is that?
10%, just
under
around that
10%.
sort of.
Yeah.
And most people are just like,
Yeah.
cool.
Especially the place it was, a nice posh area, and they were like £18 a house when they should have been like 25, 26. You just got to tell them.
So you go straight in with the price it should be. You don't just go, right, we're going to do plus VAT.
Do it on the first clean.
First clean, yeah.
But show them how good you are, and then hit them with the price increase.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a great way of doing it, because when you pull up, just like you said, it's not an old Mondeo with a couple of ladders on it. It's, you know what I mean? We're pulling up with a big old bit of kit.
Yeah.
I like it.
So we've sort of covered that one. So this is a sort of question we've added it in for guests. This might not be totally relevant, but what's one major misconception the public has about window cleaning or external cleaning in general?
That, like you said, you've got to pay cash.
Yeah.
That's what they want. If you want a £15 window cleaner, there's plenty of them out there, but that's not me.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, and they won't necessarily, when they phone up and they talk to me, they expect me to turn up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get a lot of that, and the boys will go, oh, they wanted you there. Well, I'm not there. I'm doing something else, you know. And then we've got four lads going out in 4 different vans. You know, they're unlikely to see me.
Yeah, chances are they're not going to see you. What do you reckon your biggest learning curve's been in running an external cleaning business?
Learning to delegate. So I'm a control freak. I want everything done my way. I want it done properly, and I want them to pay on time and everything done right. And you've got to give all that responsibility to someone else. They've got your name, they've got your phone number on their van, all that type of stuff. And it's taken me a long time to trust people. And I've just taken on a new lad who's only 21. He's a great kid, and he's working really hard. But you think you're giving him all that responsibility. He's taking my van home, you know, he's insured by me, public liability by me, pension by me, as we were saying the other day about pensions. Just pick up on that. You can opt out of it at any level.
Can you?
At any level, yeah. Because, you can. It doesn't matter if full-time, part-time, 100 grand, 10 grand.
Oh, there we go.
You can say I don't want it.
Just expanding on what you said there about obviously members of staff and that. Have you kind of got like a good vetting process? Like what's a good way to vet these people? Because I should imagine you're not just going to take anyone with the right qualifications.
No, just come on a day out.
Yeah.
and you can see what they're made of on a day.
Yeah.
If you're knackered by the end of the day, you're not right. Because I want you to do that every day and more.
I'm knackered by the end of the day.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe I should give it up.
I know. Well, the guy that I've had for 2 or 3 years now, one of my best employee, he used to go to bed at like 7 o'clock when he got in because he was so knackered from the day.
Yeah.
And it gradually got better and better and better. And now he's fine with it. But that's like 2-3 year process.
Yeah, it takes a while.
So it just takes a long time for someone to get used to it.
Yeah. How do you keep up with? So you've been going a long time, 20 years. So you would have seen new chemicals come out, new equipment, new technology. How have you kept up with the trend of that? Is that something you've been on top of?
Yeah, I quite like the new stuff. I even looked at that Marshall Air Pro thing the other day.
For like a bit of magpie syndrome.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. New bit of kit.
So did you do roof cleaning as well?
Yeah. I don't like it.
No.
And I think it's really hard work.
That is what everyone's saying.
Put an employee on a roof is like
nerve-wracking.
So do you do all them yourself still?
No, I make sure I'm there.
Right.
So if you do a roof clean, I'm going to be at least standing on the floor looking at you working. But I don't like it.
No.
You know, if they make a mistake, they was doing one last Christmas, and he just too much pressure and took the pole and smashed into the neighbour's roof. I went straight through the neighbour's roof. And I was like, no, they weren't in.
Run away.
Have you got my number? Thankfully it was an old house and he had spare tiles and they just put it back together. But you think what it could have cost you?
Yeah,
totally. With thousands and thousands. And insurance, it would have been thousands.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think your brand name's quite memorable, PCS. Was there a strategy behind that? How did the name?
We don't cut corners, we clean them.
Is that what it is?
That's what it was.
Yeah.
We used to go to B&I meetings back in the day.
Yeah.
And that was your little strap line, do your minute, sit down, we don't cut corners, we clean them. By the end of the year, they're all saying it every time I got up. Little things like that, little memorable things. Also stuff like the electric vans now. So we've got 2 electric vans out of the 4 fleet. And people go, oh yeah, James is the one, he's the one with electric vans.
Electric vans, yeah.
Yeah, like that. And then if people are on about carbon neutral stuff, you can say, look, you're not even putting diesel in the vans now.
So do you find that even if you had any problems with running electric vans?
Yeah, they were a pain in the arse, really. The mileage is never what they say it is. And then you go and put 600 litres or 500 litres in a van, it's going to do even less miles. So I bought a transporter, which was a real bad decision, and it's got like a 50-mile range. So it's just rubbish. Once you put that tank in it, and it's taking it on the split road relay, it's taking in battery from the main van to charge your battery in the back.
Yeah.
That's your mileage going in the back. You don't think about it in a diesel van, but in an electric van, you can just see the range going.
Should look into putting solar panels.
I did look at solar panels. It's really expensive, isn't it?
Well,
if you do it yourself, it's all right.
Yeah, I paid 600 quid for the kit, but I have had issues with one that I've installed, so that could potentially.
And what was that? Just put through the roof and then
just through the roof into the control box, and then control box into the battery, and all it does is it charges the battery. Super simple. My van absolutely fine, set up fine from day one, working, no issues. Elliot's van
issues.
Can't get it to work. I don't know what the problem is.
What's he got in his van? It's just like 650 or.
He's got 650, but it's exactly the same setup.
Right.
As the solar panels I've got on my van.
Is it a different van?
Different van, but same.
Same solar.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the van. Doesn't run through the van. It's completely separate.
I always think there's a lot going through those batteries. They get hammered every day.
Yeah.
So if you think in my big van, I've got a battery in the front that it's drawn from. I've got 2 batteries in the back, one for controlling the reels and the pump, and one controlling the hot water. And that's run through one of those Sterling, what are they called? Split low relay things. Yeah, that's doing that, but 3 ways. So when you go and add solar to that, there's like 4 or 5 things going on.
The solar charges the battery.
Yeah.
So it doesn't draw any power.
It doesn't draw anything at all.
Right. It creates power. So if you'd have that instead of a split charge relay.
Okay.
So it would create the power rather than drawing it from the van battery.
Could you have both?
You could have both.
Then you'd be firing, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But then that goes against like Prior's and Abacus of having one man in one van, because I've learned that what's the point in having 2 men? I did it today actually. I had the 2 new blokes and me in one van, and we did 655, and the other van did nearly the same by himself.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what's the point?
It does. When you like when we was talking to him, we've said this many a times, like on the phone and that. It's eye opening, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, why would you do it? Why would you send 2 lads out?
I think it's a difficult one because from a safety point of view, like it makes absolute complete sense. If you put 2 people out, you're going to earn more money.
Yeah.
Like your brain tells you that's the right thing to do.
Totally.
But when you actually consider 2 people, 2 vans, yeah, they might not be able to do as much, but you can do 2 lots of that rather than you're not doing double when you've got 2 people in one van. But
it'll be more expensive here, but if you take it as an example, a man in a van in Peterborough can do between 400 and 500 quid. 2 men, like today, was only £150 more for another man, another set of wages.
But then you say he's a new fella.
So they're learning. I don't mind for this next couple of months
if
or whatever.
if they were 2 competent fellas.
How long did you do with Elliot before he went out by himself?
So I was planning on doing 3 months, but it was actually more like 7 weeks.
Oh, it's
because
quite a time, though.
We just got
Nearly 2 months.
We got so busy. So quickly.
That's the problem.
And it was just like, I need to get you out. We can't maintain the level of work and both be together because it's just not happening. But fortunately, he managed to do almost every job at least once.
Yeah.
And then, so he's been there. His memory's not great, but he's been there. So he doesn't always remember, like, what. Like today, he pulled up to a job that he's done on his own.
Yeah.
And then he was like FaceTiming me and he was like, I can't remember what windows are. Oh, mate, you're at the wrong address.
Really?
He was like 3 doors down. You're just videoing someone's house.
Is this weirdo around my house?
Then he drove down the road and he was like, oh yeah, I remember it now. I was like, yeah, that's why he didn't remember it, because it was at my house.
Jumping over, James, to marketing now.
Marketing?
What does your marketing kind of look like, and what do you think?
So marketing's changed so much because I'm a big believer in knocking on doors. I still knock. Today I went out with the 2 lads, but I wasn't really with them. I was knocking doors. Really? All day, and I must have knocked, I don't know, 200 doors today. I put 1,000 flyers out today while they were working, but I picked up 7 jobs from it today.
And you're there keeping an eye on them.
And I'm keeping an eye on keeping customers sweet. I think PR is quite a good thing. So I'm going to talk to you about the cup. I bought you a cup.
Tell us about the cup. Let's just show
Cups is that's a James Sinclair
and it's
idea.
Prefer offend on the back. So tell us about.
So they are £1.68 each from Temu.
Yeah.
Really?
Right. And so I bought 1,300 of them.
Right.
You can do the maths on that. I don't know what that is.
About 1,600 quid.
Yeah, something like that.
Quid.
Nearly £2,000, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I give one to every single customer, and I definitely give one to every new customer. And they go, they phone me up and they go, I got your leaflet out of a mug that you gave my friend. Oh yeah, did you? Who's your friend? Great. Make sure you say thank you to the friend. Got a new customer. That happens all the time, every day.
It's working well.
Did you track that?
Yeah.
Go on. What's the stats on it?
I'm about 14 a week from it.
So when did that go out?
Well, not that long ago. I've got about 300 to go. Yeah, so
you've done over 1,000.
Yeah, I've done over 1,000. Yeah,
and you get 14 a week. 14
a week,
mate. That is, and what's the acquisition cost? £1.60. Well, I suppose you've got to take the 1,600. Mate, that's incredible.
But I gave one to a new customer, and he goes, "I'm the caretaker at school." I was like, "Great," and he goes, "I'll pass it on to the head teacher." So he took the leaflet from the mug, gave it to the head teacher, and now clean the school.
Mate, it's beautiful.
That's almost paid for itself.
Beautiful.
It's £2,000 plus VAT a year.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, mate. That's a success story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's them little things, isn't it?
But how many people are willing to spend £2,000 on 1,300 mugs?
Well, how much did you spend on your leaflets just now?
Yeah, 380 and another 500 to get them delivered. It's nearly £1,000. Yeah. And they'll be going out soon.
That won't work as well as that. Do you
know what? I've always looked, because
you've got to have the customers to do that.
Yeah, totally.
If you've only got 200 customers, it's pretty pointless doing 200 cups.
So how many customers have you got now?
Well, I tried to work out the other day, because you get loads in, but also people move, die, the rest of it. And because of price increases, I put my prices up recently and a few have dropped off. So it hovers around 1250, 1300, but it's going bigger because I'm looking at another van, so it must be getting bigger.
So you're really pushing it.
Yeah. What I think that people can learn from someone like me is I'm the difference between manning his van, working by himself, and like a 10, 15 strong prior firm, and he's even bigger than that now. But you've got to be prepared to do this bit now. So for the last 6 months, I've worked, I get up at 6, I'm working 6 till 7:30 when the boys come in on paperwork, 7:30, get the boys loaded into the vans, filled up with water, 8 o'clock till 4:30, they're out working, 4:30, come home, do an hour of paperwork, spend 3 hours with the missus and the daughter, they go to bed at 8 o'clock, and then I've got another 2 or 3 hours after that, going to bed at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. If you do that for too long, you're going to burn out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm on about 5th month, I'm thinking of 6 months of doing that, and I've got to stop because it's mental. You're doing like 80-hour weeks.
But what does that look like, the change? What is that,
But the change, I need all the blokes out by themselves, and me not micromanaging them, and then I need someone in their office. Just answer the phone, book the work in, and then get me on sales.
At what point do you think you'll come off the tools?
I'm hoping, like June.
So about 5 vans is where you think is good at sweet
I could do it with
spot.
4 vans. 5 vans would be easier, but 4 vans, yeah. But your 5 vans, you've got to go out for another 2 or 3 months with that new worker, so it takes you out of the...
Would you not put the worker with your best member of staff?
He doesn't like it.
Oh, he don't like taking
he didn't like it because he's used to it now.
Yeah, he wants to just earn his
he's
money.
done 2 or 3 years with me in the van, and now he's got rid of me in the van. He's doing it by himself. He knows his round. He knows his customers.
Yeah.
He knows what they like, and the silly customer that wants it 4:30 on a Friday, and he knows he can go and do that. And
so, go in as much detail as you want, but wages for you guys. What's your sort of pay structure?
Just took the new lad on at 24, and when they have done a certain period of time, it goes up to 27.
Mm-hmm.
I took another lad on who started at 24, and I said to him, when you pass your test, he hasn't passed his test yet either. So I put him through his theory, he's passed that. I'm putting him through intensive training course. You do it in a week and pass your test in a week. But there's nowhere that does it in England till September. I'm not waiting that long for you to drive. So I pay for him to go to Scotland, does it in June, gets it done, pass the test, and he gets paid more money.
Mate, that's good of you. Well
but
done,
the people that he's paying half of that as well, out of the goodness of his heart. But the people who've been with me a long time, I've got that chap I started with more than 20 years ago. If he comes and does a day with me, he's like $250 a day.
Yeah.
He comes and does a roof, $250 a day. I just booked in a solar panel job. It's going to take him like 2 hours, like 150 quid for 2 hours work.
You look after him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And the main guy, anywhere between 25 start and 35.
And it's like a scaling progression, the more the work they're doing.
What's that, jobs a day, you mean?
No, amount of money.
Pardon me.
Grand.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I like to ask that question because lots of people have different opinions.
Yeah.
Some people do it on like a percentage share.
I saw the way you were doing it, or you were planning to do it with Ed.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite interesting because he's got the opportunity to earn quite a lot of money.
And he can see, like, the way I like it is he can see it.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the plan.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to provide to the business. I'm going to bring in this much work, but as that work comes in, and you bring on new staff members, here's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And, if you stick around.
I said to the new guy as well, I took him out by myself on a patio job, and I was like, right, tell me, what do you want? How long is it going to take me to get to 40 grand? I was like, get you 40 grand. You got to work really hard.
Yeah.
And it's not just... And then the next day, he goes, how many jobs have got left? I said, don't worry about how many jobs have got left. I said, do you see Alan Sugar worrying about how many jobs he had left? He's working on Christmas Day. You want to earn 40 grand a year, you work really hard and it'll come. And I said, it'll come. I have no problem in you earning that money. But you've got to take on a lot of responsibility, you've got to take on a lot of work, got to work some hours that are not nice. Your family are going to not like you for a little bit. If you can take all that and handle 40 grand, it's no problem.
Do you know what? That's a great question because I used to ask that to my employers when I was working. They'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know, whatever." I was starting on like 22 grand a year, and after like 3 or 4 months, I go, "How do I get to 30?"
Yeah.
And then, like, I could see then in their face, if they didn't want to pay 30 grand, you could just read it on their face. Oh, well, I mean, like, it's not really there, mate, you know? And then you can judge it, and then you go, right, this ain't for me, I'm going to bounce. Asking a question now. There's two parts to it. First part is, what's the biggest challenge you've kind of faced over the last 20 years?
I think it's capital to do with the stuff you want to do.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you want a new van and you want to do it properly, you're looking at, like, 10 grand really to get it set up properly. And then if you buy the van outright, I don't do it outright because I think it's a waste of money. I think you do it we lease them.
Yeah, totally.
And they're like £300-400 a month. Mm-hmm. So if you break that down over the year, how much that is on the year, you're looking at like 20 grand per van.
Yeah.
To get it moving. You know, and if you want to do that, in the last year, I've done 3 vans. So this year alone, I've done 60 grand in the last 12 months on vans.
Just on transport, just on vans. Yeah.
And then I bought a bloke out the other day, retiring, old van. And I thought, do you want this old van?
Oh, you bought a van and all?
Yeah, why not? What else are you going to do with it?
Would you take his shoes off and all? Take the lot, man.
He started like tearing up when I was driving off. And I was like,
bless him.
What's the matter? And he goes,
Just wheel spinning out of the car
it's like end of an era. And I was like, well, I can take your telephone number if you want as well. You know, I'll take the whole lot. Why not? Because he's not going to use it.
No, totally, mate. Yeah,
it's just
totally.
going to go in the bin.
All right then. The second part of that is you've got 4 vans now, right? Right. So I want you to dig deep in your brain, go back the 20 years, right?
Yeah.
So you was working on your own, and then I can imagine you had someone, and then you got them a van, and then van 3, and then van 4. What's the biggest jump? What is the biggest jump?
No, 1 to 2
is the biggest.
And that only happened 2021. 1 to 2. I was one man until 2020.
You've nearly done 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've done a long time.
So between 2021 and now is progression to 4 vans.
What changed?
I just think in COVID they were going mental. Everybody was sitting at home with dirty windows. They wanted it done, and I think
loads
that
of extra money as well, because they weren't travelling.
They weren't spending all their money commuting, and they weren't buying their lunch at work and stuff like that. You said it was like 6-7 quid to get a meal deal now, or whatever it is. You know, if they're not spending that a week, it's 40 quid a week.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that was one of the best things to ever happen to our economy.
I wish I'd started.
Do you know that?
COVID. I started at the end of COVID, and I wish I'd started just.
But you started when the prices are high. You can go in and say, "Look, this is what I want."
Yeah.
And you should be brash enough to say, "This is what I want." And I was listening to you on the way up, and you said something about take the 150 if it's offered to you. And I kind of agree. You should do to a certain degree. If the next door neighbour comes out, clean the next door neighbour. But if you're busy, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, that's the difference.
You can't be doing that. So we are like rammed. I can't fit another job in, right? So you've got to be saying to the customer, look, we're this much, but you've got to wait 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And if they really want you, they'll wait 8 weeks.
And I think that's a great point, right? I think that's a great point. I'm getting to the point now I'm seeing that, right? So when someone speaks to me on the phone, before, when you're not that busy, you book people in, yeah? Oh, all right, I'll bend round you sort of thing. Now it's a case of, no, I physically can't get to you for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. And if they want you, they're a good customer.
I think it's a mindset shift as well. Like, once you physically can't do it,
they want you more.
Always bring the power back to yourself.
No, totally, yeah.
But you also won't do it for no money either.
No, massively.
So that £150, you won't do it now because you know how much it's going to cost you in the long run.
Yeah, no, totally. It's a great roller coaster, mate.
And you're not counting for money because you're busy.
Yeah.
So it's like the discount doesn't seem that appealing anymore.
Yeah.
Like, whereas before it's like, I'll take what I can get, sort of thing.
I've noticed it as well. Like when you quote like price shoppers, you quote. I mean, you probably see it all the time. You quote works, and they go, all right, well, I'm getting a couple of other quotes, and I'll let you know. And then you might follow them up, and they go, oh yeah, I'm still waiting on one, or I'm having a chat with someone, so I'll just let you know if I need you. And then like it'll go quiet for a month, and they'll call you. And it turned out the other dude was no good, so they went for a little bit cheaper, and clearly it didn't work for them. Yeah, so it's good. I think it's good.
You can tell when they come in. If a customer comes in through like Facebook and they message you, it will say whatever the automated message is, looking for a window cleaner. And they'll put price for a 3-bed semi. You don't want that customer. Straight away, you don't want that customer. They haven't told you their address, they haven't told you their name, nothing. You want no affiliation with that customer at all, because they'll go, 3-bed semi, and I'll go, send me your address, and they never respond back.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed recently with my Facebook ads is people commenting, so they don't fill in so it says get an instant quote, all they've got to do is press the button and fill in their details. They'll comment and go, I've only got 6 windows, how much?
Oh, mate, I get that as well.
Fill in the form, mate, you'll find out. And that happens all the time. Or you'll get someone will, on the automated booking system, they'll say no, and then it sends them a message saying, is there anything we can do to change your mind? And they'll say, yeah, I'm only a 3-bedroom bungalow. I'm like, does that mean you've got less windows in a 3-bedroom house? Because I count the same amount of rooms, mate.
Yep.
Yeah. You've still got 3 bedrooms.
And I know some massive mansion, 3-bedroom
Mega.
So, yeah, it doesn't really make a difference to me. But on the subject of Facebook ads and whatnot, what would you say if you had to list your forms of marketing best to worst, what would you say?
I spend a lot of money on like Facebook and stuff like that. We do $1,000 a month I give to my social guy, and he gets me, I don't do any Google, but he does, Instagram and Facebook and all that lot. I get much more than I give him, so that works. But knocking on doors, I don't believe in leaflets going out like Pryor does to millions, because if you've got the infrastructure to cope with that, because it's going to come in and you're going to get one 20 miles away from your house, another 5 miles away from your house. When you're going to fit it in, they're going to have to wait and wait. So I don't think that works so well, but doing it where you are works. So if I'm in a certain place, I'm in Whittlesea, which is just outside of Peterborough, if I go and do that area, I will leaflet that area, because I can say to them, I'm in the area tomorrow because it's gone over 2 days, or I'm in that area in a month's time. I think that leaflets of where you are works.
So another question that is mainly for me, but when you do your working days or weeks, whatever, do you do like Pryor does, where you do an area a week, or do you try and hit every area in that week or whatever?
Yeah, so it's changing a little bit because of the 4 vans now, but yeah, so I've got like the bigger rounds that take a week to do the whole round, and then the smaller ones, but it does follow like a pattern.
So do you
through the month.
So that the rounds that take you a week to do, you do them in 1 week?
That's one area. I send all 4 vans to that one area for a whole week.
Right.
Yeah.
So you
and
don't
then move on to the next
and then
one.
Be in the area like
And then you get like commercial stuff will come in. I don't like commercial stuff so much because you got to wait for your money. I don't like waiting for money.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Does make sense.
Go cardless is genius.
Do you know what? Let me ask you this, right? You got 4 vans, right? So obviously, should we say 3 of them are completely banged out with work, and the 4th one picks up the slack here, there, and everywhere?
I think that's how it's going to work.
That's how it's going to work.
They're in with me in one van at the moment, but when they go out, I would say, I gave my social guy, I said to him, we think a van brings in about 90 grand a year for one van.
That's beautiful numbers.
And so you can work out what I should be earning.
That is beautiful numbers.
Times 4. I reckon I've halved that van, the new van, so I've only got half to fill. I've only got 45 grand split over 12 to fill. So I'm nearly there again.
Right, but the question is, where does the ad hoc work go?
It's in between.
Because ultimately you've got 3 geezers running at maximum capacity.
Yeah.
Because they've got their rounds.
I'm not sure at the moment.
But I think this is the question, isn't it? This is what I've always sat there and wondered. It's like, because like even you.
Yeah.
Like when you're busy and they're like, oh, you're in the area. It's like, mate, you're trying to cram so much into a day.
I think you've got to decide what you want. What do you want? And I wanted to be off tools, and I want a premises, and I want someone in the office to deal with everything. Yeah. And I just want to sell, because that's what I'm good at. And I think when I get to that point, you've got to kind of just coast a little bit, not be so high at getting everything all the time. Just coast a little bit. So for you, example, I think you're pretty much at the start of it. You've got to learn the little kinks and stuff that I can help you out with. But once you get past that bit and you're running so that your van is just flat out, then you've got to decide what you want, because you don't earn so much money with your second van. You don't. You're going to earn less money than you are with one van. Yeah. for a good 2 or 3 years, right? Then you get another van, it's 3 vans. You think all the money's going to fly in. No, it don't work like that. And you think people are going to watch this and go, well, he's 4 times 90 grand, he's on 360 grand a year, he must be raking it in. I can tell you honestly that the outlay for all of that stuff, you're not raking it in.
Talking about
my payroll is 15 grand a month.
It's outrageous. Isn't
That
it?
is outrageous. That's outrageous. That's madness.
That's
It's
just
like,
what- yeah.
almost half of your turnover,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you got to take the VAT off the total
Easily.
as well.
Easily.
Yeah, it's
So you
the same.
decide, and then you're at the next stage after that. So you just got to
Yeah.
decide on how much you're willing to give up.
So did you ever sit there and go, I want 4 vans? Or did you just say, I'm not turning any work away? I'm just going to get busier and busier, and they're like, I'll just grow and adapt as it comes.
Yeah.
That's what you've done?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sort
So
of
you-
learning
To my
as you go.
detriment, yeah.
So you've actually got no finish line. You don't know what you don't know how it might look in 10 years. You might
Well,
be.
I had a chat with my wife the other day, and I said, "Well, what figure?" She said, "What figure do you need for us to be making money and you not on the tools?" So I gave a figure, and I was like, "Well, if we get to that figure, what we're going to do?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, because the work's still going to fly in when we hit that magical figure."
You're still going to be working, aren't you? Effectively, it's just
Working,
you're not
just
going to be
not
on the tools.
physical, yeah.
It's going to
Yeah.
be the same demand. You're still going to be getting up at 6 and doing.
Yeah.
You know, you might be able to drop for a couple of hours after everyone's gone to bed.
Yeah.
But you're still going to be in demand. Like, that's running a business.
But I watched all the Dragon's Den and Alan Sugar and all of that stuff, and the girl from Dragon's Den, Sarah, I think her name is, she puts the kids to bed and then goes to work. Gets the driver and drives her to London after like 8 o'clock at night.
Really?
She does her work in the car in the back, gets to her office, works through the night, and then comes back to take the kids to school. I was like,
What sleeps during the day?
I don't want any sleep.
Yeah.
When do you sleep and all that? But you think that these people, obviously, that's motivation beyond me. I don't want to be doing that. That's what I mean about picking your level. Like,
I don't think that's enjoyable. She can't.
No,
like-
but maybe she's got a goal, and then when you reach that goal,
Yeah, but then I think as an entrepreneur, you never.
No.
It don't matter if you've got a goal in your mind. Once you get to that goal, you'll have another goal, and then
well,
you'll
you
be working
interviewed
towards
prior.
the next
What
thing.
is his next goal? It's probably 3 million, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
totally,
pretty sure
yeah.
he said on the podcast, he might have told us himself, I can't remember, but he was saying he wants to get to a certain figure and then sell.
Oh, really?
But I don't know if he'll.
Who's going to buy that round?
It would be a venture capitalist.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
definitely.
Yeah, just be because
I'm
it
talking
works
trillion
around in
money.
it. So it's effectively just a investment for someone who can buy it and just carries on running. But he will get to that point, and I don't think he'll sell
No, I don't either.
because it'll be like, well, I can reach 4 million.
Yeah.
Let me just see what I can do in the next
Or
couple
why
of
not
years.
do another area?
Yeah.
You know,
start-
he's in, what, is he,
yeah.
Surrey or somewhere?
Or start another business.
Yeah.
You might sell it, but then it's like, oh, I can't sit around doing nothing because you're that kind of person.
I was listening to his interview we did with him, and he said about grass cutting, and I was like, why don't you do grass cutting? But for him, just putting a van on the road, you earn the same money. I understand that.
Yeah.
But grass cutting, that's a whole nother revenue
Yeah,
stream.
yeah, massively.
What I didn't understand with Lee, which I get that it's logistically a big thing, but it's like he doesn't do any other services
No.
and he doesn't do commercial. But out of his 13,000 customers, how many he had, how many of them are going to have a shop or know someone who has a shop or work in a school or whatever it might be commercial wise that he could tap into and add another £500,000 a year? Or how many of them, if you sent a text out about pressure washing, how many of them would have their patios and their driveways done? And I get what he's saying, like you've got to have someone who's trained and another van and all that, but that's, for me, in my head, that's easy growth.
I think them boys are missing a trick. I genuinely think
Yeah.
it. I think to myself, just get a fella down ad hoc, right? Just send the text message out. Just send the text out. You might get 30 grand's worth of work.
It's going to be more than that, though, isn't it?
Massively.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot
If he's
more
doing
than
2
that.
million and he sends a text out to all 2 million,
Yeah.
it's good. 10 vans ain't going to do
That's
it.
what I mean. And it's like, you could even, I'm sure he could have a deal with a running company already and be like, look, I don't know, well, just give me a quarter of it or whatnot.
Who can take on that amount of work though? That's the
Yeah,
problem.
but it's like,
Even if he came to you now,
if he came to me now and I was like,
how many
oh,
could you physically do
I'll
on top of the work you've already
yeah,
got?
but I'll book out the end of the year. I'll book out Q4.
Yeah.
I'll say, right, you can fill Q4.
And what happens to your customers in Q4?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm gonna have to do, yeah, but I won't take on any ad hoc work apart from Lee's say. But then obviously, yeah, my
You won't turn
customers.
it down.
Eh?
You won't turn it down when it comes in.
Well, no, of course I won't, because I'm an idiot.
No,
but
no,
but it's
we're all like that.
No, that's
You
what I
won't do
mean.
it.
Yeah, I know. But this is what I'm trying to say. I feel like it's like when I asked him before, and he said no, and then at like Abacus, no, and I was like, mate, you lads, I feel like there's big money on the table.
We spoke to a couple of other lads at the expo who had 4 to 6,000 customers, and they do roof cleaning and all that stuff. But it was a fella called Max. he was saying he still goes and does them because he doesn't want to trust the staff of them, which is
which is fair. Yeah, which is fair.
Because I wouldn't want to send staff members to a roof. No way.
No, not on the road, definitely.
And
not.
then I don't want to be doing roofs
Forever.
I had one on Monday. I got one on Friday, and I'm already upset about it.
But you're knackered on Tuesday.
Yeah,
to do the work on Tuesday.
On Sunday, mate, thinking about it. But yeah, today's been a struggle because of yesterday.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll probably feel a little bit better. Thursday I'll feel normal. Then I'm back to square one Friday.
So just take, for example, if you charged $1,000 for that roof, right, to keep it round numbers, and then your normal window cleaning days, say half that, 500 quid. Could you do that consistently? Is the question. So if you get busier and busier like we want to do, and you book 3 roofs a week or 4 roofs a week, how's your window cleaning or the other services going to be downgraded because you're so knackered from there? Or Elliot does, and he's knackered from there. I've had it before with my lads. My main lad now says I don't want to do roofs, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
I don't want to do the roofs, but at the moment it's good money to pay for marketing.
Yes. Yeah, if you do them, it's good money.
That's the way. That's the way I look at it. At the moment, it's a means to an end, and it gets me a nice big lump sum coming in that pays for next month's marketing budget.
Yeah.
And it's one day. I've never done one more than one day, fortunately. But it could be like this week. I've got $4,000 worth of roof cleaning work.
Great.
They'll come in. They'll get paid, and then I've got some breathing room with how I spend that money.
Yeah. They're local.
Yeah, one was literally like 3 minutes down the road, and the one on Friday is 10 minutes down the road.
Great.
But generally, most of my work is local. I do the UK. I've got a job coming up in Kent, but it's very rare that.
And how far's that?
About an hour. But that was a recommendation from another company who markets like nationwide.
But it's just that are you going to do it over like 2 days or something because it's that far away, or are you going to try and smash it in one?
That's just it's just a ground pressure washing job. It's not a roof.
Oh, I see.
Generally the roofs, I don't want them, so I quote them high.
Yeah.
So they're good money, but they're not huge. Like, so that $2,000 job on Friday is probably a £1,200 job. Like, really. So we'll get done in a day.
Yeah.
And we'll do all the soffice and face and the conservatory included in that.
Yeah.
And it'll be a hard day, but it's priced well. And then I don't mind doing them. I don't want to do them, but I don't mind it.
No, I agree with you.
But then
Definitely.
It's nice to have that influx of money, and then it's like, well, maybe if I do, or maybe I'll turn all my ads on for a couple of weeks, and I'll do 80 quid a day.
Don't turn ads off. Don't ever turn ads off.
No, I run 4 different ads, two areas at a time.
Yeah.
And I'll switch them over.
Fine.
But because I've got an influx of money, I might go, well, I'll turn them all off for a bit. But we'll see how it goes. You know, I've got that breathing room, I've got the wriggle room to do.
Because my social guy said to me that if you turn them off, it takes like 2 or 3 months for it to go back into a cycle of them seeing it again.
Yeah, I've heard a similar sort of thing.
And I was like, I don't quite get it, but I understand that they've just got to be on all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it might have even been you that told me that at the expo. Just keep
probably,
on,
yeah.
Even if you drop the budget, just keep them running. But I've taken that on board, and it's been very, very good for me.
I think also an aspect of competition helps.
Yeah.
So there's a chap in Peterborough that I know really well, good mates with him, and he was at, say it was 20 grand a month, and I was like, wow, I want to beat that.
Yeah.
And now I've beaten it, and I'm like, right, now I'm top dog now. Amongst not the big ones, but of the domestic window cleaners.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to be.
Yeah.
So a bit of healthy competition.
Do you have all your vans sign written as well?
Everything.
Yeah.
All uniform, all the boys, hats, everything uniformed, all the vans sign written. They've got leaflets, business cards, everything. Even the water bottles that's got my logo on it.
What's the so they all go out, obviously. So do you tell them that you have to like drop a minimum of 100 leaflets a week, or do you say you have to?
No, just do 5 either side.
On every window clean?
On every house.
But okay, but then you ain't going to do them again on the next round, are you?
No, but someone will pick it up. They're all pretty local. That's the beauty of my work, is it's all within about 5 miles of my house. So nothing's far away.
That was one of my questions as well. No, but like, okay, so let's say like tomorrow, the boys round tomorrow. Yeah, and let's say they do 5 either side of the job.
Yeah.
In a month's time, or 4 weekly, or 8 weekly, they're not going to do the next 5. They're not going to drop the same leaf.
Oh, I see. No.
Are they?
No, you write it on the sheet when you've done it.
Okay.
And then do it every 3 months.
Gotcha.
So
Every quarterly.
that constant trickle. You know, when Pryor does, say he does 10,000 leaflets in an area, he doesn't do that once a year. He'll do like 4 times a year in the same area, 10,000 leaflets, because they're seeing it. It's something like, isn't it 4? I think I heard it from
6
you.
or 7 times, yeah.
You've got to see it so many times before he registers with you.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to see me on Facebook, you've got to see me on Instagram, you've got to see the vans going around. You know, we have the number plate on the van all have the last 3 letters PCS.
That's
all the
great.
vans.
That's great.
And my
I love
wife's
that.
car and my car, and you know, all of them say PCS, right? And they go, oh, I saw, you know, Graham the other day, I saw Richard the other day.
I love that. That's class. I might have that with MKM. I might jump on that,
Brilliant,
mate.
mate.
I might
tell you
nick
what,
that, James.
that's about 150 quid a license plate, 8 quid to put it on, so
250 innit?
250 quid.
And it looks the part.
great.
God, mate.
Imagine that on your van, MK at the end.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've got K13 SDE and K77 SDE.
That's clever.
The 2 vans.
I was looking at number plates when I started, and obviously I was a handyman when I started. I like the Magpie. I love it. I went on it and I could have got handy.
Ah,
It
yeah.
was 2.5 large. 2.5 grand.
But just think what it would have done.
How mustard
Mate,
is
I think
that?
That's so cheap.
I thought-
Oh, mate,
handy.
you should have had that, mate.
I looked and I sent it to my missus and I was like, it was just when I started.
Yeah.
My van wasn't even sign written. And she was
I
like,
think that would have gone up in value.
she said, do you want it for your birthday? Like, a couple of us will get together and get it for you. And I went, nah. I said, I'd sooner spend it on marketing. Mate, I should have had it.
101.
Oh, mate. And I was like, no, listen, let it go. But handy, mate, it would have been mustard.
I got it from my dad and Pimlico Plumbers. Pimlico Plumbers are
Dynamite.
they're the best, aren't they?
something in there.
And they've got everything tap. You know,
Yeah,
all
sync,
the lot at
everything.
the end. But my dad, the optician, he's got loads of cars and stuff, a car collector, all with EYE on the end.
Is it not all blurry?
No, that would have been one, wouldn't it?
I was waiting for that. Oh, right, so EYE.
Exactly.
That's lovely, mate. That's
clever.
lovely. That's not the name of his shop, is it?
No, it's Jay. My name says Jay Neville Opticians.
Because
Yeah.
where I used to live in Ilford when I was growing up, there was an opticians with E.Y.I. What am I trying to say? It was I, but it actually meant something.
Oh, right,
you know what I
right.
mean? And I thought, how clever's that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's good branding. And I thought, it might have been yours.
Right, to wrap this podcast up, James, we're going to ask you one final question. And it is, if you could give one bit of advice to someone starting from one man in a van to where you are now, what do you think the best bit of advice you can give them, the key bit of information? What is the golden nugget to get them from where you were to where you are?
Knock on doors. Every single door. Every person you meet should have a business card in their hand. Literally, every person I meet, there's business cards on me all the time, and all the lads have business cards and leaflets, everything. People come to my door to sell me something, I'll give them a business card. Every person should have a business card. You go into Tesco's to get your shopping, give the person on the till a business card.
Do you really?
Of course, why not?
You've got to put it in the chip and pin.
I went to Aldi the other day to buy some sorbet because I'm lactose intolerant, and I gave the bloke on the thing, and he goes, I'm already one of your customers. Is that what he said? I said, oh, of course you are.
Brilliant, that's brilliant.
And I was like, well, it just shows you, doesn't it?
Mate, that is class.
Yeah.
It shows you.
I bet that happens a fair bit to you.
Well, yeah,
Like,
because it's
that
quite a
many
big
customers in
round.
small
Yeah,
area.
yeah, in a small area. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So, I know we're ending it, mate. I love it. I love just like, getting the information. So you said you're 5 miles.
Yeah, well, there's a round that's 12 miles away that was the one we bought recently.
Yeah.
$5,000 for $3,000 of work. That is 12 miles away from my house. So not miles away, but the majority of my work is like on my doorstep.
And you just you're just going to carry on in your area until you're like...
Yeah, I can walk to the next street. Yeah, in my block, there's 190 houses, and I clean 42 of them.
Mate, that's outstanding.
Right, in the next block, there's 188 houses, and I clean 36. You know, but why can't I clean 100?
Yeah, I've always said this. I've always said this.
I think
know-
it just becomes harder, doesn't it?
And well, you said the other day something like you're trying to get your 11th customer. You got 10 in a row, and you're trying to get your 11th customer. Was that you? I think it was you.
So.
Someone said it, and you can't get that 11th customer because they've already got a window cleaner, or they're not interested in the windows. Just go and do it. Don't tell them. Just go and clean the windows.
Really?
Yeah, what are you doing? I'm cleaning your windows for free. Why are you doing that? Because I want you to be my customer.
Yeah.
I bet you to come back. And then you've got 11 on the street.
Do you know what? I've thought about this, and I know it's horrible. I watched a podcast about one of the Rockefellers, about, you know, the wheelman.
Yeah.
And he got big in oil until he was like a mammoth. all right, against all the little oil manufacturers. And he turned around and got them all in a meeting, right? And he said, I'm going to buy you all. And they all went, no. And he went, right, well, I'll tell you what. He went, I can run at a loss longer than you can stay solvent. So I'm going to buy you. And they went, okay. And I thought, I don't want to say I'd implement it, but you could, couldn't you? If you had that 10 and you was gagging for that 11th, you could just say, I'll tell you what, I'll clean your winners until he drops you.
Yeah.
For free.
We spoke about this before, where offering a free first clean to get someone on board.
Yeah,
General rule of thumb is probably not a good idea, but if you're trying
it might work.
If you've got 5 in a road and there's 50 in that road, it might be worth going and do, you know, not in one go.
I know what you mean.
Like 5 a week and just knock on the door and say, look, you're looking for a window cleaner. No, I've got one. I'll tell you what, we'll clean your windows for free. Then you can let us know what you know.
Who's better?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But you get all these tips by listening to all the podcasts. I got podcasting the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. I listen to everything. James Sinclair, Emma Greedy, all of them. Dragon's Den, the lot. And the little nuggets you pick up. That cups was from James Sinclair. The putting the tenner on the bit of paper to give to the council with a tea bag. That was James Sinclair. You know, all these little things. You just add them up. Listen to Pryor. He's only made a few videos, but what he says is magic.
Yeah, golden.
It is great. That's what it's about. You just got to take a little bit there and it works.
And he said he sold his house to do it. I remortgaged my house to do this round.
Mate, good on you.
So I've done half of what he's done.
Mate, good on you.
There's no failing now.
Yeah, mate. I'm in hook, line and sinker, mate. Definitely.
All right, see us out, Danielson.
Well, guys, thanks for watching another great episode of the Uncleanables with PCS, James from PCS. Hope you enjoy it. Any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. And remember, stay cleaning.
Quality.
Well done, James.
Thank you.
That was class, James.